So today I'm doing potato wedges. Recently I did a bit of a list. I've got flour on my face there. Recently I did a bit of a list of those things which have been requested since we've been going to Jason's Kitchen. One of the things that's come up, and I'm actually doing them tonight, so I thought I'll do the video, which is a simple potato wedge. I am going to fry these. But before I fry them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil them. So essentially, the type of potato you use is quite important. A lot is to do with the sugar content of a potato, which is dependent on what variety you use for certain things. So this is all-purpose general Maris Piper, good for mashing, good for chipping, all-purpose, all-rounder. But I've tried baking potatoes for this, which are quite good to use for size-wise, because baking potatoes generally come in a packet which are even sizes, but they don't turn out as well. Very good for mashing, because I use them for mashing, but not so much for potato wedges. So without further ado, it's dead simple. Got a pan, and I am going to boil them, but I'm going to rinse them first. Rinsing is quite important. The reason behind rinsing the potatoes is because you're actually getting rid of some starch off the potato, or where you've cut the potato, and you're also getting rid, which can produce like a darker chip, which is not necessarily desirable, and you are getting rid of some of the sugar content. But we're boiling them. So without further ado, I mean, we're obviously going to have a variety of shapes and sizes. So the first thing to consider is how big you want your potato wedge. Do you want really big ones? Do you want really small ones? Entirely up to you how you cut them. But the process is the same in terms of what we're going to try to achieve, is to cut them all around the same thickness. So whether it's a big potato, which something like that, I'm only going to get 4 out of. So something like that, literally I'll cut across like that, and across, and I'll bring you a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. And I've got something like that, and I've got their 4 largest size wedges there. So they're going to go in. Not going to wash them or anything like that. They're going to be rinsed and they're going to be boiled, so that's not a problem. So same with that one. I'm probably going to get 4 out of that. So just make it as even as you can is the key with your wedges. Like I said, sometimes I do smaller ones, but in the main, the family prefer them to be a bit on the chunky side. Now, the beauty of boiling them is essentially it makes a far better potato wedge when fried. But the beauty actually about boiling them is this, that when you do so, you're essentially cooking the potato all the way through. So, you know, there's nothing worse. So that one I've cut in half, it's a huge thing. So all I'm going to do is, and you've got to be a bit, judge your sizes. So I've just cut that in half there, and then that's kind of making it a bit even. And the same again. I mean, this particular half here looks as though it'll probably be better if I cut it into 3, just so they're somewhere near. It doesn't particularly matter if they're a bit bigger, a bit smaller, but just make, if you can, because there's some smaller potatoes, but we're trying to achieve the same thickness. So yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, when obviously we're cooking these, we're boiling them up. We want to achieve a potato that is cooked and soft all the way through. So when it goes in the pan, and I'm going to come on to methods of how we do it. So when it goes in the pan, there's nothing worse than eating, that's probably okay, that one. Nothing worse than eating a potato and you think, oh, you eat a smaller one that's a bit soft, you get one, oh, that looks lovely, that, and you eat it and it's hard in the middle. No worse than that. So we're going to avoid that just by the way in which we cook the cooking method. So like I say, I know loads of you know how to do this, which is fine, but some have asked. So I'm going to do it as simple as that. Any bad bits cut off. And sometimes when you get a real thin edge, it's worth taking it off, because sometimes what happens when you get a really thin edge, there can brown a little bit too much in the fryer. So I'm just playing by ear how I'm doing this, but there's one, that's about the right size. any bad bits cut off, whatever. I mean, I've got a bad bit there, so I'll probably take that bit off, half that one, and like I said, we're just trying to achieve the result of even sizes as much as we can. So it's a little bit not straightforward process of chop chop chop, as in you're making everything, because they're all different sizes to start with. So it's going to be a bit more challenging to get it the same, but we do our best. That's all we can do. I don't think I'm going to need the full bag. Definitely won't need the full bag. I'm just, to be fair, I probably forgot what I'm doing when I'm talking to you, and forgot that I'm only cooking for 3 people, not for 300, which is my problem sometimes. Sometimes I kind of forget how many I'm cooking for, and we end up with quite often more than what we need, which is, to be fair, I'd rather there be too much than too little. But that's the way I like doing things. So I'm not going to do any more than what I've got there. The last 2 big ones, they'll go back, and we'll use them for something else. So essentially, I'm going to give them a quick rinse now, and then fill them up, and then we'll come on to how we're going to cook them. So let's get them, just get a rough rinse, just get rid of that starch out of there, which is what we want. And I'll just fill them up now and clean my mess in the meantime. But it's quite a quick and easy thing to do. To be fair, a lot of the time people go to the supermarkets and they just pick up a bag of this and a bag of that, and convenience is one thing, but to be fair, it is easier to do. I'll put it there so you can see what I'm doing. It's easy to do it yourself, and more rewarding and tastes better, to be fair, if you do it properly. If you went to fry these straight away, you'd end up, to get them cooked, you'd end up with them too dark, too brown, and they wouldn't taste very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them to the boil, but while they are boiling, let's get some flavour into them when we've got the opportunity. So when they come out, everyone likes to put salt on the top, but why not put some salt in the pan now while they're boiling to give the potatoes some flavour? So essentially, I'm going to put I tend to use the cheaper salt for when I'm boiling. So this is just sea salt, but it's kind of a cheaper version of it. So I'm going to put a whole teaspoon in there. I mean, a lot of that is just going to go down the sink. But as it boils, all I want to do is just bring to the boil. And as I've said this before, controlling your temperature is key. So I'm not going to wait till it gets to the boil and chew it, but all I'm going to do is bring it so it just starts blipping. Always do it from cold. Potatoes, any root vegetables, you always cook from cold water. Bring it to the boil, control your temperature, and from the minute it starts boiling, I'm going to give this between 10 and 14 minutes. So like I say, sometimes it depends on how you cook them, but what I'm wanting to achieve is when they are cooked through, if I can find it, where's the little spike gone there, it's hidden. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use a little skewer, just a little skewer, and I'm going to test through, and I just want to easily poke through the potatoes that are cooked. Simple as that. I'll come back at the end when we're at the draining point, because that's quite an important part of the process, because we want to steam them dry. But essentially they're going to cook between 10 and 14 minutes till they just go through nice. They're only just going to blip away, so that it's not uncontrollably boiling, because what happens when you aggressively boil, you start breaking the potatoes up as they're cooking down, and we really don't want that. We want to keep our potatoes intact. And the other thing people sometimes think is, well, if it's on a higher heat, it's higher setting, it boils quicker. It doesn't. Your water only ever boils at 100 degrees, whether it's on number 10 or once it's boiling, it doesn't reach any higher temperature. Different for steaming, by the way, but for boiling, so all we want to do is once it's boiling, just control it so it's just boiling. That's all we want. So that's that. And then when we come to the next stage, I'll explain, we're actually going to double cook the chips or wedges in the fryer, because I am using a fryer. You can use oil on the top, and we can come back to that. But in the meantime, potato wedges in the pan, going to come to the boil, they're going to blip away. 10 to 14 minutes. As soon as my skewer goes through there, off, drain, and we'll come back to it. So that's it for now. We'll see you in 10 to 14 minutes. So bye for now.